Hi, Christy here. I apologize for disappearing for a bit. Things got really crazy here, including my husband having a medical procedure that had a lot of ups and downs, shall we say. Not as smooth as expected. But I'm back and here we are, and I'm in my Akashic records, and I'm going to start with a jumping off point of allowing the terrain to reveal itself as you walk it. That's something that came up in intuitive healing the other day for someone. And I find it pretty fascinating. I remember when I used to go hiking in Vermont, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and what you had was a guidebook. You didn't have a cell phone, plotting everything for you. You certainly didn't have like lots and lots of photographs. You might have a few of something you'd see. When you looked out on a vista, you just kind of trusted the map and things would reveal themselves as you went along. There's something about being present to what you discover rather than, let me get there. I also was one of those people, probably still am, who was like, I want to summit, I want to get to the top. But what about along the way? Like, what are we going to see and what might surprise us and what animal, was only there the moment you were there? So it seems like a really good place to play with not knowing. You don't know until you know. And it's funny how we want to know a lot of times. Like, people will say to me, am I going to move soon or something in an Akashic Records reading? Which to me, of course, this is like the realm of psychics. It's not really the realm of the Akashic Records. But if you wanted to move, we can explore the probabilities and possibilities of you moving. And if that's something you want, sort of the steps it would take to get you there. So sometimes even when we think we know, we don't know. And sometimes when we don't know, we actually do know. I think that's one of those paradoxical things. People are like, I have no idea about something, and they will have just described to me several things they do know. Like, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do this, and I love this. Well, that's a lot of good data that helps you inform yourself about who you are, what's important to you, and what might be next for you. And that brings me to the idea of beginner's mind. I'm sure you've probably heard in the beginner's mind there's many options, and in the expert's mind there may be few. Because we start to eliminate things just because we think we know better. And sometimes those things may be exactly what we need, might be the perfect solution. So keeping curiosity at the forefront, keeping play, exploration, openness to, being open to surprise. It's really tricky sometimes. Like me having a PhD in chemical engineering in a very specialized area, I felt like I really knew that terrain. But what if there were things that were ruled out that would have opened up some other possibilities? I think it's a stretching, an exercise in surrendering to be with what you know, but be open to learning, open to surprise, open to what might reveal itself if we haven't closed the door on it already. So just getting warmed up again. I usually try to go for about 10 minutes when I do these, but today it's going to be what it is. I'm going to surrender to this being the perfect time. I'd love to hear in the comments below when you've surrendered your expertise, your knowing, and allowed things to unveil themselves in the perfect timing. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, please go be brilliant.